Perhaps no one at this network shares an off-camera relationship with Tiger Woods, more so than our own Scott Van Pelt, who presides over our golf coverage at the Masters and other tournaments. And Scott, first and foremost, thank you for joining us. Your reaction when you heard this news this afternoon?
As I was listening, Matt, to you talk to Ramona, the Kobe thing just is so vivid, and the moments that you're hearing about something happening, and then, as you so well put, there's these aerial pictures, and now we're looking at an automobile, and it's just jarring. And your first thought is, I hope he's all right, and I don't mean all right as in like not injured. It's pretty clear he's injured. I hope he's with us. I hope he's still alive. And immediately, I'm reaching out to people in the game, and as you know, you cover this sport very well for us as well, and have a great passion for the game. It's a small, tight-knit group, and it's the people that play it, and it's the caddies and the club reps, and the media that cover it, the writers, and all the rest. It's a very small group, and it's really tight. And so I was just immediately reaching out to see if anyone was able to tell me anything, and pretty quickly I got back the sense that he had been pretty badly injured, but that the thought was that he was hadn't suffered life-threatening injuries. That's the sense of what I got back. And then, you just hope for the best. I mean, this is someone that, and he and I have joked my entire career that he's single-handedly responsible for it. And it's not a joke. I met him when he was a freshman at Stanford, and he became this rock star. And I was lucky enough to be close enough to cover him, and came to ESPN because I covered him. And over time, you get to know each other as people, and he becomes a dad, and becomes an old guy with a bald spot and a fused back, as I've talked about so many times, and becomes so much more relatable as a human than he was when he was a 20-something-year-old Superman, and was this superhero version of us. And so it's odd, Matt, when you feel so personally connected to this story, because you just want so badly for this person to be okay. I don't give a damn about the golf,
right.
It couldn't matter less. He gave us more than just about any other athlete we've seen in our lives, in terms of the moments that move you and make you feel. And so at this moment, I don't find myself at all concerned about Augusta or anything else. I just think for him and for his children, I hope he's all right, man. That's really it.
Yeah, and Scott, I think the point that you bring up, for not only those of us who love the sport, cover the sport, and have long admired Tiger Woods of what he's been able to do within the confines of the ropes of a golf tournament. I mean, you could look at Tiger's career maybe in three phases. Tiger 1.0, the phenom. Tiger 2.0, the dominant golfer. Tiger 3.0, after the scandal and the injuries, to get back to the point where he wins the Masters in 2019. As you've seen him, Scott, develop as a person, how has he changed in your eyes from who we saw early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s to who we've been accustomed to over the last few years?
Well, he had that look for so long that it was somewhat zen, and it was somewhat boxer getting in the ducking under the ropes to get in the ring. That almost zombie-like state that he didn't let his soul in. And it was a means to an end, and it worked. I mean, he was devastating out there. But then after the mess that he largely made of his own personal life, and then a comeback, there was a bit more of an access that he gave to people outside. He solicited that. And I remember telling him, it feels good to let people hug you. You just got to let them. And I meant his peers and the people outside the ropes that adored him. And what you saw, Matt, in 19, when he won, and he walked to the same spot where he hugged his father, and then he hugged his son and his daughter. And the sound that the patrons made, I'll never forget it. Like, to hear that golf tournament sound like LSU in a night game, sound like Tiger Stadium. They're chanting Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. And you saw his peers come line up just to shake his hand and to see him connect to those people as he walked it felt different. It felt like he understood that they meant maybe more to him than he knew, and that he understood what he meant to them, and that in that moment of connecting in a different way, as a human, as a dad, as a scarred up, flawed version of us in a way, right?
Right.
Back in that place, we never maybe thought we'd see him again. I think that's how he changed. I think he let his fans love him and acknowledge that it meant something to him, and that moment helped frame it. All he really needed was Sam and Charlie, his kids. That's all he needed. But having those people there to provide the soundtrack, for that moment, I know what it meant to him. I mean, because he's expressed it to me. I know what it meant. And there were a lot of times, Matt, that I think he took that for granted and couldn't have given a crap. It was an inconvenience. It got to be so out of hand, Whereas then it was, when those roars died down, I know it meant something for him to hear him again.